Dude. 5-minute job.
Holy smokes. Hey, I'm Jay, and today we're gonna take the cheapest M3 in the country with 243,000 miles. We're gonna put a bunch of new parts on it. We're gonna see if these upgrades are enough or if the owner's gonna wanna unload it. All right, we're here with Mike, the owner of this M3. Mike, why don't you walk us through the car a little bit?
This is a 2004 M3. It's got a ton of miles, 243,000 miles. I was looking for one, and you know, at this current market, they've become basically unobtainium. So scrolling around at night, like every car enthusiast does through all the various websites, and I happened to see this price just seemed too good to be true. Then I looked at the miles and thought, well, that also seems not too good to be true, but actually, you know, doesn't really have that many. It was at a price where I thought it was worth a gamble. So I bought it out of New Jersey. It still has this inspection sticker from New Jersey. Didn't see it, just waited for it to get shipped, and I got it and I saw it. And it is cosmetically nice, but you know, as you would imagine with 243,000 miles, the car's worn out. And so I'm at the point now where it's like, is it worth putting a ton of money in to fix it? Or do I, you know, cut my losses and flip it? Or, you know, I'm not really sure which direction to go with the car here, but you know, it is in good shape, doesn't have any rust like a lot of them do. So I'd like to, you know, see what we can do with it and see if it's worth saving.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the body goes, cosmetically, this thing looks immaculate. We don't have any of the rust down in the fender wells. The paint looks pretty much original, but it's still in really good condition. So a lot of this is just gonna be bolt-on parts. I think with some new stuff that we're going to show you in a minute, we could really make this thing something you could fall in love with.
I hope so, because it drives like a marshmallow in its current state.
Well, let's check out what we got for you.
Awesome.
So this is all the stuff we're going to put on your car today. We're going to be putting in a Turner intake, our ECS coilovers, even an EBC big brake kit, some PowerFlex bushings, Dynon coil packs, new tensioner pulleys from Schaeffler. We are giving it the works, and you'll even get a nice oil change from Liqui Moly.
Can't beat that.
I don't think you can.
I just want to show off our coilover kit a little bit. Not a lot of people know that we make them for the M3. We have the adjustable dampening, your top plates with adjustability, as well as your adjustable ride height stuff with the spring perches. So it should be a nice bit of kit and really wake up that marshmallow feel you were talking about. So one of the things that we found wrong with the car is a convertible top mechanism. So we don't have that on our build repair list, but we did have to lift it up to get to the coilovers, or to install the coilovers. And so I'm just putting some penetrating oil on the rusty bolts from the top leaking for a while. All right, so our coilovers come more or less pre-assembled. The bucket spins on the bottom, and then this whole shock body is also threaded. So then we're gonna set our lock nut, and then because this is a convertible, it's a little harder to adjust. So we're just gonna set them all the way soft. We're gonna go 10 clicks up, and that'll be our starting point. So now I'm making them match the factory stroke a little more. So I'm threading the bottom of the cup out, and we'll set that lock nut in, and then we'll feed it up to the car. While we have everything off the car, we're going to set some ride height. We have it all the way effectively lowered to help put the spring in. So I'm just going to crank it up, count the number of turns, and then we'll do the same on the other side. All right, we got one side put back together. Nice work, Mike. Fresh rotor, fresh EBC pad. We got the ECS coils. The height adjustment, I have 3 turns up from the bottom. We'll see where it sits after that, and then we'll make adjustments from there. But wash, rinse, repeat, go to the other side, and we're halfway there. So Roger from Schaeffler is here. He's gonna help us do some of the idler rollers and the wheel bearings on the M3. So we're pretty excited because he's, you know, the guy. What better the guy to have? So we're gonna dive in. Dude, look at that build.
how you get it off without taking the fan clutch off.
All right, we're a little dirty, but success. We're ready for reassembly. Roger's a little more dirty than I am. But reasons we're going in here to replace it. So you can probably see on that belt, even without much focus, it's completely foobarred. So we got a new one there. All our idlers have a lot of oil and buildup on it. We have found a power steering leak, so that's not gonna help anything. Talk us through what are we looking at for new tensioners versus old here.
All right, so with the new tensioners, like I said prior, when we talk about it, everything that's running off the assembly line, we're talking OE performance, so everything's gonna match. When we take a look at everything, the pins, everything, the pulleys, all are OE specific when it comes to it.
Yeah, you have these side by side, they look identical.
Yeah, they're completely identical to it. One of the good things that we provide through ENA is we sell a complete entire kit for most vehicles called a front end accessory drive kit or a feed kit. Generally what you're going to get in each side one of those kits is every single tensioner, the belts, the pulleys, everything that's needed when you're getting in to do that job is in one box.
Yeah, okay, great. That'll be perfect. So if you're looking for all this on your car, look for that ENA kit and get everything all at once. Let's slap it back in.
Let's go.
So even though this is spinning well, you can hear the surfaces of the bearings. That's one of our good indicators to do a replacement. Okay, and then by contrast, after you've ridden that bearing for a little too long, this is what you end up with. Now it doesn't spin at all. So there's a good leading indicator for you to know when to change that. Imagine that little rattle, 35 miles an hour, it's gonna be a lot louder. All right, so you just heard why we're gonna change the bearings. Some of the other things, this thing's just old. Look, we snapped the retention bolt off for the brake rotor, so it's just time to take them off. Thankfully, this is probably the easiest project you'll do on this car. It is, however, a pretty big socket, 46 mil, half-inch drive should make short work of it. Roger, if you would, hand me a new bearing.
Sure, absolutely.
Oh no, our race is gonna be stuck on, I can already tell.
Oh, got a slide hammer. So here we'll see the damage on this shaft. This is what was probably causing the race to stick on there. Somebody prior to had probably used a chisel or something like that, getting down in to cut the old piece off.
Holy cow, that groove.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
pretty deep in there. Something like that, I'd probably suggest doing like a repair sleeve or something like that on, but more than likely might want to replace that spindle.
Yeah. So close.
Yeah, I just gotta.
I know it is. It's going a little bit.
You just gotta walk it. Problem is it cooled down, so it shrunk back down a little bit. You want the heat? No. We're at this point, it's coming off.
There we go.
So now that we got this off, we got a better angle at this. You can actually see here. Somebody had used a torch, like an oxyacetylene torch, to cut that old race off before, and they actually cut down into the spindle itself. You can see the heat scorch marks right there from where they did it.
5-minute job, part 2. This is a cool little piece of automotive archaeology and history. ECS tuning used to be called Euro Car Service. This slide hammer is from 1981, and that's the kind of heritage that we have behind everything we do here. So this is just a hand-me-down, and now it's 2 or 3 generations later, we're still using it.
So you want to talk about the heritage? You know, Scheffler started as FAG, which was Fischer Automatic Gusto Kugel Fabrik. I can't say it in German. Basically, it was Automatic Cast Steel Ball Corporation. What it was, the ball bearing. He actually invented a machine that would actually grind down a ball bearing to a perfect sphere. And every machine that's made to this day is based off of that generation, off of that design. So 1800s, you know, that's where the Scheffler group kind of started.
So what's the logic for doing this? I know we have a big groove, but you know, for the DIYer at home, why did we just do that?
So basically what I'm trying to do is get rid of any of like the little bits of rust and dirt contamination. I mean, being as we're, you know, in the Northeast, we're running it into salt and all that other stuff. The corrosion and everything like that causes some of the imperfections. So when we go to put this back on, it'll just be a little bit of an easier fit. We still may run into a problem with that. Like I said, in a perfect world, I'd replace this steering knuckle, because you know, that's just only going to cause problems later on down the line with the bearing as well. So what we're having to do, because of that spindle being a little bit too oblong and not around, we have to use a little bit of a punch to get this started on here. We want to make sure that we're supporting both sides so we don't push that bearing outside of it.
And the reason we're not putting a new spindle on is that they're 3 days out from BMW. They're, you know, to order only.
So next we're going to put on the axle nut. And important step, you always want to hand tighten these down and then hand torque them. You never want to use an impact to draw that back in. Doing so can actually prematurely damage the bearings by over tightening them.
5-minute job. 5 minutes. The rears to max low because they were in there really tight, and I wanted to see it tubbed out.
Are those on max low?
They're on max low.
We
When we were on camera saying that I did 3 turns or whatever, I was totally lying because I wanted to see the car fully slammed. And I know that's going to be a lot of work to readjust.
we go on max low?
No, but I may have come back here after hours and put the wheels on and lowered it just to see what it was like. So sorry, we're going to have to redo some of that work. Sorry, not sorry.
You want to mention anything about the coilovers before putting them in, Chris?
Yeah, so we adjusted them to the same length. We're not exactly sure where the ride height is going to be. Were you filming when I said the naughty thing? Okay, yeah. So I may or may not have set the rears to max low because I wanted to see what it looked like. So this should be interesting. And we're going to have to redo the rears. Sorry to everybody, but I just wanted to see what it looked like. If there's one thing that you buy after watching this video, it's the Spindle spreader tool from Schwaben. It is genius. It's oblong, so it goes into the back of your spindle and goes bloop. Just pries those out ever so slightly. It's worth $1,000, and we charge not $1,000.
We'll finish up our coilovers with our Mila HD end links.
All right, the fun part has arrived. I'm putting on the EBC BBK straight from the UK. There's a lot of K's in that sentence. But with our new hubs on, thanks to the Scheffler boys for coming out and helping us with that project, we're ready to fit all the BBK components. And you may see down here is I have a dial indicator out. There is one semi-precision setup step to this that I'll walk you through, but for the most part, it goes on how you would expect. So we have our new brackets that carry the new caliper you saw in the picture, and the kit comes with these included shims. So we're gonna shim the back of our bracket and then fit that up. And what that's gonna do is space our BBK in or out from the hub. that'll make more sense when we get to installing the brake rotor. So for now, I'm gonna tighten these on with the shims that I have on and show you what's up. Oh, you definitely want an impact driver, a little 3/8 battery powered, or I'm using air, because you're gonna have to do this a few times. Take it on and off, measure, take it on and off, measure. These are not to torque spec, but this is just to show you the assembly process. Now we're gonna take the rotor, which I've left the very convenient sticker where they mention thoroughly cleaning it before you go to use it. I've left that on the rotor because this is all fitment right now, and we haven't cleaned it. So then we tighten the rotor down with our lug nuts and a couple of washers, which are also included in the kit from EBC. So with those tight, the rotor is now fresh on the bearing surface, or the hub surface for the wheel bearing. So you can see it spins really well. That's exactly the condition that we want to be started with. All right, so I'm gonna use a gauge to measure our run out properly. I'll show you a way around this if you're DIYing this at home so you can still get a measurement. But what we're looking for is that wiggle in the dial indicator to stay under a 1/10. And we are really, really, really just fine there. Ignore the blips when it passes through the cooling jets on the rotor, or cooling passages on the rotor. So that's perfect. We have a nice solid straight rotor. All we need to do now then is mount our caliper. And this is where it's going to be obvious that your run out is good or not. You'll be able to see the rotor surface up against these points that will hold our brake pads later. Once I install it, and you'll be able to visually see the run out we're talking about. And all the hardware comes in the kit from EBC, which is a really nice touch. You're not going to the parts store for anything. They give you the shims, they give you the washers, they give you everything. They give you new hardware for the caliper. It's really pretty tidy. All right, so here's why that run out matters. Before I have this all assembled, you can see how close that rotor surface is to the brackets that are going to hold the brake pads. And that's why you have to measure that run out. Now you can do this visually, basically exactly what we're doing now. And if you see a wobble in the rotor, just take it off, rotate it on the pegs, put it back on until you find where you have the least amount of run out. Your wheel bearing's naturally going to have a little bit of run out. We can't build anything perfect. So all you're doing is shimming and addressing for your individual needs, which is why there are so many different shims. So this is a little tight for me because as soon as this rotor gets some heat, that might start rubbing. So I'm gonna add one more of the shims that came in the kit and slap it all together and we should be good to go. All right, so you saw how close that bracket was on the rotor, and I already have 2 shims on there. So I'm gonna take one more really skinny shim. We're gonna add it to the stack, and that's gonna push this caliper carrier off the spindle, or off the knuckle just a little bit, which should add just a little bit of gap from our rotor surface to caliper surface. And while I have this off, it's worth telling you, on our M3, you do just have to nip the end of the dust shield off to make this kit fit. Not a big deal, these are pretty clunky anyhow, but fair call out for somebody watching at home. And you can see I just trimmed basically this little triangle off, right where that caliper bracket mounts. The final fitment. So that's our final shim. And now you can actually see a little bit of a gap between the brackets and the rotor surface. So that's feeling a lot better for me, especially as we get some heat. And you can see about the same gap on the backside. So don't skip the run out test. And if you don't have a dial indicator, at least do it visually. But probably if you're at this level of brake kit, you probably have a dial indicator. But all in all, kit's really complete. I'm really loving it so far. We'll slap some new brake lines and pads in it and call this side done. Here's another E46 M3 product we're excited to talk about. This is the cruddy power steering fluid reservoir that came out of the E46. And this is our Turner Motorsport replacement for it. So it's baffled, it's full aluminum lid. It's a really, really nice piece. And the kit's really comprehensive. So you see the flange, the nipples, washers, everything you need to do a very quick, straightforward install. and out with the old and in with the very, very nice and very, very new.
What do you think of it?
This is amazing.
I'm really impressed with the machining on it.
Yeah.
I don't have an E46, so this is my first time seeing some of these products,
Yeah.
but that's like the
Compared to-
extra little detail of the turner in there and stuff.
Yeah.
Baffling.
Just for something that holds power steering fluid, it's
Yeah.
awesome. I think it'll look good with the intake too.
And I'm told they all leak, so it's a good fix. I've never heard of it. I'm gonna play some music. So part of this intake, it eliminates the math and runs on an IAT sensor, which you saw me install earlier. And so we have this little adapter harness that just connects the two together, and then we will flash tune it when we're done. There you go. Intake air temp sensor runs into the math connector. And then when we use the tuner, we will basically tell it to switch what it looks for. So this is that little hose we made earlier, and it is going to come back and go under our trim back to our vacuum system. Boom. That's on. Yay. Plug it in. Somebody bleed brakes.
Oh, there's a tool down here too. Hold on.
Say again?
There's a tool down here. It looks like a set of pliers.
Oh, that wouldn't be us yet. Free
There's-
pliers.
There's one in the nuts.
Okay, nut.
Take
Got
that
it.
nut. I don't know where the other one went, but I'm sure I can find it.
Our video guy saving the day here.
Oh no, these.
They're in there.
Yeah, they're in there. It looks like someone put on the skid plate with the set of pliers on. Hey, maybe you're getting a good set of pliers today.
Should we, where are they at?
You see the handles for it?
Oh yeah, that's been in there for many miles. That's a solid engine mount now.
What we got?
Survey says
What is this?
free pliers.
There. Ugh, that is disgusting.
Can't even tell.
No. Ah,
Got some needle nose.
there you go.
Antiques.
That's yours.
They did someone good.
All right, so there's two little, like male plugs on the bottom of the box. We have to match this up with when we put it in. There we go. You wanna bring those over? I should have pre-planned that. This is what art looks like when you put art and love into your car parts. You get the Turner Motorsport CSL intake. Fitment is really sublime. We follow the instructions, it fits perfectly, it looks wonderful, and it's gonna sound great.
All right, we about completed our upgrade for Mike's E46 M3. We're getting this awesome CSL intake. We have done our big brake kit. We've got so much stuff on this car we've upgraded for him. I really think it's gonna be worth keeping. Let's turn it on and find out. It's been a few weeks since we gave Mike back his car, and we're at his house to check it out for the first time. I've heard he's done a few more things, so I guess let's take a look. Holy smokes, this looks incredible. Our ride height with our ECS coilovers along with the PowerFlex bushings are probably really gonna make this suspension better. Our EBC brakes look incredible. The souvenir front lip looks great. We also threw on that Turner intake and helped them with those ENA pulleys. Mike, this looks great. I heard you did some more stuff to it. What do you think and what'd you do?
I did. I got it home. I fell in love with it. It had a lot of miles, so I completely resprayed the front end. Really accents that front lip. The brakes, when I got it, it had like a silver wheel with some curb rash and stuff. So I decided to make the brakes pop. I painted them black, brand new set of tires. Completely detailed the whole car, paint correction, all that stuff. I ended up painting the rear calipers to match and tinted the corner lights, tail lights. We got the ride height right. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, this looks incredible. Are you gonna do anything else to it?
So I got some interior work, some audio upgrades, and a little more, mileage, paint correction type stuff. And I want to put an exhaust on it, but I love it, and I think it's gonna be my summer daily driver.
So the upgrades were enough and you're not gonna unload it?
Absolutely not. I'm gonna keep it, I love it.
Awesome. Well, if you want your car upgraded, let us know in the comments. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and check back for more enthusiast content.